Leichtweisz, CEO of Hope Education Services, and I just want to thank you so much for stopping by on my parent training video channel, where every week I help you to navigate the world of special education and autism. So tonight I'm going to talk about something really, really important, and that's 3 things as a parent that you absolutely have to know before you go into an IEP meeting. Now this is really, really critical. Now every time I post a video, it's usually inspired by either a story, something I encounter real life in the field helping families just like you, or families just like you have asked me a question and I've made a video to answer it. So today, what inspired this video is a friend of mine. Her son had a diagnosis of autism. Now her pediatrician told her, go to the school board, get your child assessed, and he should be able to start a public preschool program with a special program just for him that'll really help him out. So she asked me and I said, yes, absolutely, you have to go get your son assessed. So she went through the assessment process and she went into the IEP meeting. Now, this is trick number 3 that I'm going to give. I'm going to hold off on that one critical mistake she made that prevents her son from actually getting into a program. But you're going to have to stick around to the end of the video to find out what it was. So, tip number 1, when it comes to an IEP meeting, what do you need to know? Your child is required to be given a free and appropriate public education. It's called FAPE. It's part of the Individuals with Disabilities Act. And what that means is that your child is entitled to a program that is free at no cost to you if they're diagnosed with a disability, and that includes autism, and it must be appropriate for them. So here is what's really important. Oftentimes, when parents go into an IEP meeting, you're going to do your best as a parent, right? You are your child's advocate. You're going to research the best possible program for him or her, and you're going to go to the school board and say, I want them to have this. And they're going to say, yeah, you know what? That's a really, really great program. That's like a Cadillac. We don't offer Cadillac. We offer a Volkswagen Jetta, but it's appropriate. It's going to meet your son's needs. We're not going to give you that program. So what you need to know as a parent is that when you're fighting for a program for your child, know that what you're going to be trying to prove, if you don't like the school's program, is that the program is not appropriate for your child. So the school districts, they're required to offer what's considered an appropriate placement. What is an appropriate placement? That's a placement where your child will learn. Oftentimes for children with autism, they get put in these inclusion rooms. Their ratios are really high, maybe 12 to 1, 16 to 1. And what winds up happening is they're just lost in the crowd. Now we know the reason why ABA works for kids with autism is that they learn really well when they're taught discreetly, that one-on-one. So if you think your child's not going to benefit from that program that your school is offering, well, then what you need to do is prove that it is not appropriate. And that's the language that you want to use in that IEP meeting. You have to let that school district know, listen, I don't think that's an appropriate placement for my son. Now, if you say that's not the best placement for my son, they're going to turn around and say to you, well, we don't have to offer him the best placement. Nothing says that you deserve a Cadillac, right? Something just says you deserve to be able to drive. Well, your son deserves to learn, so you want to prove that it's an appropriate placement. Now, this can go both ways. You could have a child that they want to put in a classroom that is really restricted, and you want to actually argue and say, well, you know what? My son doesn't need that, or my daughter doesn't need that. They need to be in an inclusion room. They're going to benefit a lot from being around their peers. Well, that brings me to tip number 2. Your child is entitled to an education in what's called the LRE, the least restricted environment. So the school district can't just say, I will give you homeschooling, or, we don't have an inclusion room, so you're going to be in the resource room with your own teacher. It doesn't work like that. So your child is entitled to access to the education as much as every other child whenever possible. So that could mean being in a separate room, a resource room, a self-contained classroom where you are, excuse me, sorry guys, if you hear my dog in the background, it's a snow day in New Jersey. That's why I'm making these videos for you. But that's him looking out the window at the plows. But anyway, back to the education video. This is real life, right? These videos that I make for you, this is out of the generosity of my heart. These are not, I don't get paid for these videos. I'm not selling them. I do this out of the generosity to share what I've learned after all these years, right? So anyway, back to the video, back to the least restrictive environment. You can request your child eats lunch or has recess, or it may be a subject they're really good at, that they are able to participate in that with their peers, even if they need that help throughout the rest of the day. So always be thinking about the fact that your child is entitled to that least restricted environment. So tip number 3, where did my friend make that vital mistake that I wish from the bottom of my heart that she had the privilege of watching this video like you do? What her mistake was is when the school district came back and said your child is not eligible for services, they had her sign a piece of paper. That piece of paper was the IEP. An IEP is a legally binding agreement. So she signed off on a legal agreement saying she was in agreement with the findings of the school district. Here's my tip, and don't tell your principal or your superintendent I told you this, okay? Never ever sign a paper at an IEP meeting. Always take it home. If you have an ABA team, if you have a friend, if you have an attorney, if you have a neighbor who's a special ed teacher, have them take a look. Once you sign an IEP, it is set in stone. It is a legal document. There is a process you can go through to appeal and to change it, but it's a very long, it's a very difficult process. And once you've agreed to it, it's very difficult to change, because once you've signed it, the burden of proof becomes on you. And, the questions, well, I didn't know, never sign it. Just trust me, never, ever sign a document at an IEP meeting. That's the best advice I can give you, because if you want to change something, you're gonna have a really hard time going back and doing it. Always, always think about it, pray about it, take a day or two and figure out if it's really what's best for your child. So I really hope this video has helped you. I hope it's helped your family. Don't forget, I post a video every week, sometimes 2 videos. Today's a snow day, so you're probably going to get even more videos over the next couple of weeks, because I'm here and I love to really just help families and be in service to you and just make sure your child is getting everything they possibly need. So subscribe to my channel, and until next time, God bless and make an amazing day.